We're in Sweden. It's nearly the shortest day of the year in the middle of winter. It's almost dawn and we're driving north for a test sail on a very exciting new boat. Here she is. It's the Hallberg-Rassy 40C, beautiful boat, first launched 2 weeks ago, and we're one of the first magazines to get to sail her. So we've just come out from Ellis. We've got full sail up at the moment with, well, there's one roll in the jib. We've got 22 knots across the deck, apparent wind. We're doing 7.8 knots upwind. It's lovely flat water, it's a great breeze. She's just sailing beautifully. I mean, it's light on the helm, it's tiniest amount of weather helm, but the twin rudders just feel really smooth. There's no play in the helm at all. She's just a pleasure to helm. It's very different to the south coast of England where I'm used to sailing. You've got these granite skerries dotted around, and as you can see we're within a few metres of them, but we've got, what, 17 metres of water under the keel here, so we've got plenty of depth. It's just stunning, it's beautiful. If you've never sailed in Sweden, do it. She's really about ease of sailing, so it's all push button. So by the helm position here I've got the Genoa winch, so I can sheet in and out. I can reef the main here. That one's got the mainsail in-mast reefing. I can control the outhaul with a push button. And the main sheet's just behind me. This boat's got a manual main sheet. Oh, there we go. Just a little bit of a gust. So with the twin rudders, sometimes you hold on, when probably on a single rudder boat you'd have eased the sheets a little bit earlier there. You don't really need a winch handle at all on this boat. Ease the sails and you're away. Sheet in that Genoa a little bit. Perfect. The nice thing with the centre cockpit boat is you're quite high up, so you've got a really good view all around you. And on this boat, all of the controls are brought onto the console at the wheel. A lot of it is push button control, so it's really easy to use. On the console, we've got anchor up and down, autopilot, bow and stern thrusters and their variable speed. You've got the main chart plotter, and then you've got Genoa in and out furling, the main furling in and out, as well as the electronic throttle. And you've also got a button for the control lines, which come back to a powered winch as well. Up on the foredeck, one of the key things that makes this a more modern Hallberg-Rassy is the plumb bow, which is a breakaway from the more raked bow of older Hallberg-Rasseys, and the integral bowsprit for setting light wind sails from. It's also got an integral bow roller for the anchor, and the furling drum, electric furling drum, is below decks to give you maximum sail area and a nice clean look. Then you've got a really good deep anchor locker here, plenty of space for fenders, and there's a shelf that sits above the anchor locker, which is brilliant. And then moving aft, you've also got flush hatches around the edges that drains overboard beneath the waterline, so you don't see it at all, and great ventilation as well. At the mast, you've got in-mast furling, and Selden masts, who make the mast, do this really neat electric motor that fits inside the mast, and you can actually get these to retrofit to standard masts. And then that comes up to the Elvstrom membrane sail, Epex sail, which is fully battened with vertical batten, so you get a really good sail shape. The halyards are led aft under the deck, which keeps them really neat, and they just come back on one side and go back to an electric winch, so it's all push button. And then you've got the typical Hallberg-Rassy split shroud base, so it keeps the side decks nice and clear, with the inners coming to the inner side and the cap shrouds coming down outboard, so it's really easy to walk aft. Moving aft, there's this nice step because the coaming is very wide, so that makes it much easier to get over into the cockpit. And there's a walk through below decks under here to get into the aft cabin. So the step also provides a housing for an electric winch, so that that doesn't impinge then on the headspace for the walk through. On the back rear coaming here, aft of the helm station, you've got the main sheet with the adjustable traveller, so that's within easy reach of the helmsman, which is a nice little detail. And then you've also got on either side these absolutely cavernous deck lockers. There you go, so they've got a drain in the bottom of them, so you can put wet things in there, fill it with fenders, paddle boards, engines, barbecues, whatever you want to put in there. Okay, so we've also got a fold down transom here. It's not full height, and that's for two reasons. It stops the transom looking really bulky and huge. It gives you something to look at, so it's from an aesthetic point of view. But it also keeps the weight down, which means that it can just be operated by a simple hand line and a cleat, so there's very little to go wrong. No gas struts, no hydraulics. Uncleat it, and there you go. So your bathing platform, and there's a ladder in there as well with two recessed handholds. At the forward end of the cockpit, you've got a really nice spray hood that comes quite a long way aft, so you get really good shelter. You've got the instrument repeaters and a chart plotter repeater. But the really nice touch about this is the companionway hatch. So you've got a sliding hatch, but then recessed in here, push the washboards down, and they pop up with a gas strut. So you don't have to find anywhere to stow them, you don't have to lift them out, just give it a shove down, and away they go. And under the cockpit sole, you've got a really deep space where you can stow a life raft, and it also means that if you do ever get green water over the cockpit, it drops down straight into there and then drains away without going below at all. What could be better than a good read, comfortable armchair, and a glass of wine after a day out on the water? This is the appeal of a beautiful, comfortable boat like the Hallberg-Rassy. Let me show you around down below. The galley on the Hallberg-Rassy 40C is a really good space. Amazingly, for a 40-foot boat, you have this walk-in galley that's full of stowage and full of really useful space. You've got a little lift-up extra work surface there, double sinks, stowage behind here, stowage lockers there, stowage under the sink and under the oven. You've got a fridge there, another fridge here, top opening fridge there. You've got a dishwasher, a microwave, all the mod cons. Moving forward, these two armchairs are something of a Hallberg-Rassy invention. They're incredibly comfortable to sit in if you've ever tried them. They're an option. You can have a straight settee down this side, which gives you an extra sea berth. It does slightly limit the space for the galley, but it's a slightly more practical space with a larger crew. The table folds up like that, so you've got a really good big table, whichever option you go for. Other options in here are also this light European oak finish. You can choose that, or a slightly darker mahogany. And then with the lighting pack, you get extra LED recessed lighting here, indirect lighting, to create a really nice ambiance. It comes as standard in certain places, but for extra indirect lighting and dimmable LED lights, that's another thing that you'll need to tick on the options list. On the port side, you've got a forward-facing chart table, big enough for a leisure chart. And you've also got space for mounting instruments on port side. It's a little bit cramped in. I'm just slightly bumping my head here. But you've got good fiddles that also double as a handhold. One nice touch that I like, access to the electrics here, all beautifully wired in, nice retaining cord there, and you can add in instruments as you need very simply. Switch panel, battery controls, stereo, heating, charging points. It's got everything that you need, but you'll notice that there's no instrument repeaters and no chart plotter down here. That's something that an owner might well add in once they've got the boat. Moving aft down port side, we're actually walking through underneath the cockpit coaming. This is the cockpit coaming, that's the cockpit seat there. Chart table, behind it you've got an extra freezer there, full of cornettos at the moment, lovely. Wet locker here, right next to the chart table, which is good and convenient. You've got your switch fuse panels in here for the whole boat, really easy to access. In the aft cabin, you've got a full width cabin for the owners, so it's really spacious. On the centerline, midships, you've got a full-size double berth, double island berth, but a really nice touch is that the sides, there are lockers above the height of the berth, which act as permanent lee boards, so you can't roll out, even if it's a slightly rolly anchorage or you're on passage. You've got this nice sofa for relaxing away from crew if you've got them on board. Bookshelf there for all of your reading material. You've also got the main engine in here, and there's a good access door here, so you can get to all the main service areas in the engine, water calorifier, and there's space for a generator underneath the companionway steps as well. The only downside of the owner's cabin aft is that there's no ensuite heads, and I can see that people might want that. If you do want that, then you need to go up to the Hallberg-Rassy 44. On this boat, you have to come forwards through the saloon, and just before you get into the forward cabin, the heads is on port side here, and there's even a washing machine in there. In the forwards cabin, you see some of the benefits again of this new modern hull shape. She's got almost vertical hull sides, which means that you can really push out the width of the berth in here, giving you lots of space, good wide foot space at the end of the berth. As with the rest of the boat, you've got an opening hatch, you've got hull windows, and you've got really good stowage. Up here, you've got a shelf on both sides, and you've also got some shelved stowage in there. And then just opposite the heads, you've also got a hanging locker too. This boat's got all the mod cons like flat screen TVs, dishwashers, washing machines. But at its heart, it's still a true Hallberg-Rassy. Hallberg-Rassy is the epitome of a sturdy long-distance cruiser, and the new 40C behind me delivers that in bucket loads. The wider hull shape and twin rudders aren't going to be to everybody's taste, but what you get is a powerful boat that will easily outrun older Hallberg-Rassys. The basic model comes in at £405,000 including VAT, and the fully spec'd up one that we've been testing is £555,000 including VAT. If you've got that kind of money, she's going to be worth every penny.